The 60th Annual Jazz in the Gardens Music Festival, featuring Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, Sean Paul, Ari Lennox, Charlie Wilson, Jodeci, and so much more. March 11th and 12th at Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets on sale at jazzinthegardens.com.
It's not just the ocean breeze that's inspiring. It's the diversity of cultures found in Greater Miami and Miami Beach. Plan your trip now, miamiandmiamibeach.com. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Small Business Saturday Shout Out. I'm your host, Alicia Couri, and today on the show, we're going to be talking all about securing your finances in your business, especially if you're a woman and if you might be considering getting a divorce. So stick around. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Small Business Saturday Shout Out. I'm your host, Alicia Couri, and I'm so glad that you're here with us today because we have a great show, great guest with us. But before I bring him up, I just wanted to welcome you to the show and welcome all the viewers on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Twitch. Thank you for tuning in today on this episode. And if you have not yet and you have a business, I want to encourage you to go over to our Facebook group. It's facebook.com/groups/SBSSO. And there, we encourage you to share what your business is, what you've got going on. If you have any promotions, you can definitely promote it in that group and just get to know other people within the business community over on Small Business Saturday Shout Out. So our show today is sponsored by FAMU Mary at Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, Jazz in the Gardens, and Audacious Concept Inc. And it is produced by Red Carpet CEO. So to find out more about medical marijuana and the proper and legal uses of medical marijuana, go on over to mary.famu.edu. And if you want to partake in the Jazz in the Gardens Festival, you can go to jazzinthegardens.com. I'll drop a link in the comments a little bit later in the show. But this is Small Business Saturday Shout Out. And there are three ways really to get a shout out on this show. So I really wanted to share this with you if you have a business and if you want to be a part of the show, if you want us to shout out your business and spotlight you on the show. So the first way is if you're watching us live, you can leave a comment. And when we're live in the show and you leave a comment, who you are, like what your business is, your name, and how people can reach you, whether it's a website, an email, just a way that people can get a hold of you for your business, just drop it in the comments. You drop it in the comments, I'll put it up on the screen during the show and give you a shout out. So that's the first way and easiest way to get a shout out. The second way is you can do a 30-second commercial on the show. You can run a commercial during between our guests, and that's another way you can get a shout out for your business. And the third way to get a shout out for your business is to be a guest on the show. So you can go on over and email us. If you email support@aliciacouri.com, if you email that to us and let us know you'd like to be a guest, or if you DM me, if we're connected on any social media platform and you send me a DM and say, I'd like to be a guest on the show, we'll send you the link so you can be here, right here on the show with me. And those are the ways that you can get a shout out on this show. So today we have an incredible guest with us today. And I am going to bring him up here to the show with me and let him share all about the wonderful things that he's doing. So, Craig, hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us. So share a little bit about who you are and what you do with our audience.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for having me on. It's a real honor and pleasure. I'm president of Richman Capital Management. I've been a financial advisor and wealth advisor for women for over 40 years. I know I don't look that old.
No, you're not. You started when you were an infant.
That's true. What makes me unique is I have like 5 degrees in finance and financial planning, so I'm well educated. Not to toot my horn, but mostly I have a divorce. I'm a financial divorce analyst, and I'm also a yoga teacher.
Mm.
So, putting everything together, I really have a unique process and ability to work with women and help them both in business and considering divorce.
All right. So I wanted to find out a little bit about how you've managed to pick like this niche of working with women specifically, and women going through one of the most difficult times in their life.
Well, it kind of, believe it or not, I had an epiphany on the yoga mat. I've been a yoga teacher for, I don't know, about 11 years. And prior to that, I had a rigorous practice. I love yoga so much. I was almost doing it like twice a day, 6 days a week. And when you get in tune with your physical self, after that point, then you kind of start working on your spiritual self. And what happens is you start peeling back the layers about what's going on in your life. And I wasn't necessarily happy in my current market. I was working primarily in the construction industry, believe it or not. I was the investment advisor to the commercial construction industry, and I was doing very well, but I was serving them, but they weren't serving me. So it was a mismatch. And honestly, it took the yoga for me to kind of figure it out. And once I did, then I knew that my tribe really was working with women. And
yeah.
and I've been successfully helping women really. And I work not only here in Florida, but I work with women across the country through Zoom.
So tell me a little bit about if a woman has a business, what are some of the things that she should consider financially for herself and her business?
That's a great question. You really have to, going back to peeling back the onion, that's probably a good phrase because, and it's not necessarily just women, but any business owner really sometimes doesn't handle their business correctly. They're working in their business, but they're not working on their business. So they're emotionally, physically involved, and they just really don't see what's going on in their business. But the business is the most important thing to them, and more than likely, it's probably their biggest asset. So the first thing is cash flow. It's important to be able to evaluate your income statements and your balance sheet to make sure you understand, revenue coming in, what are your expenses, and really what are you netting out every month, and are you netting out? Some businesses are operating at a loss. And if this is your biggest asset, you really got to step aside for a moment and say, okay, what do I need to do to better myself? In other words, a lot of owners are not taking enough salary. Whether they're afraid or they're not, or they're taking too much in distributions. And if you do that, that could be an IRS payroll audit problem. They may have way too much staff, or the staff they have is really not being utilized correctly and giving them the revenue in the business that they need. And you have to, work on your business. In other words, what is it you want your business to do? Your business should grow year after year. The most important thing that most business owners don't do well is they should use the business for a pension plan or qualified plan, because that's one way you can get the IRS not being your partner, number one. It's also good for your employees, because more than likely, without a plan in your business, they're more than likely not saving any money to speak of. And so not only is it the best tax vehicle for you, but in essence, let's say you work another 10 years, if you could build up your pension plan, and there's a lot of different pension plans that can be designed based on the demographics in a type of business. If you could help build your wealth outside of your business, that takes more pressure off your business, that when you look to sell your business, you're not stuck, because sometimes you may have a business that's not doing well at the time you want to sell it, or it's a type of business that doesn't do well in the kind of economy that you have.
Or
So
you're the business. So when you
that's exactly right. So you could be stuck. And
right.
and the other thing is, maybe you should take in a partner or develop a person that could potentially look to buy you out over maybe in an installment sale or time. So you have to really look at your succession plan in terms of, what is it you want your business to do? And if you are the business, you're going to burn out. There's just no ifs and buts about it. I see it all the time. And if you're really a one-stop shop in your business, you may be incorporated, but the reality is you're just a glorified employee.
So do you have a checklist or something that tells us what it is that we need to really be paying attention to work on our business? Like, how do we strategize that?
Well, I don't have a checklist for that, but somebody could certainly hire me, and I can walk them through, analyze the business, and I also work with their CPA if they have one, to make sure I understand the dynamics of what's going on. But the reality is, you want to maximize your business and make sure you're being compensated correctly and you're building your wealth, not only now but at time of sale, that your business is worth whatever you need it to be. I have connections with lawyers that help develop your business. If you have a bigger business, that help develop your business to where it should be, given you have to have time. But you can't wait to the last minute to evaluate this, because frankly, it'd be too late.
Yeah. I heard one business strategist. He helps with the sale of businesses, helps you sell your business, that transaction process. And he says, really, most businesses aren't set up to sell. Like they didn't plan out the business to sell it. And then they get to the place where they're ready to sell and their business is not saleable. So you need at least 3 to 5 years of really prepping your business and getting all your ducks in a row, so to speak, in order for it to even be attractive for sale. So
Absolutely.
That's kind of what you're talking about. Like, understand what it is that makes your business marketable and saleable, and get all the financial ducks in a row on your business.
But also,
statements and everything.
Also, one point is this: sometimes selling the businesses may not be the answer, because you may not be able to get to your point.
Yeah.
If you're really not set up properly, then the reality is, if that really is your way for you to drive your income, then honestly, maybe the way to do it is continue running your business, because once you sell your business, that's it. So it's really what are your goals? What are you really looking to do? Hire those professionals early to help you evaluate and set up a game plan so you can reach the promised land.
Nice. All right. And then the next thing I wanted to ask, because you mentioned that you're a yogi, so
Yes.
you're a yoga instructor.
Namaste.
Yes. How do you also, because I'm going to get to the divorce question in a second, but how has yoga helped you counsel or even get your clients in the right frame of mind going through such a difficult process?
Well, Alicia, that's a great question. First off, because of my yoga practice, I live in the present. I'm centered. I'm calm. When somebody asks me a question, I don't react. I'm able to evaluate what's being said, almost like like a third person, if you will, and understand what they're saying, and then be able to react in a way that's meaningful for them. If it were up to me, everybody would be taking yoga. I've never met anyone who didn't benefit from yoga in some way, shape, or form. In all sincerity, that's why The old days when I was so involved with yoga, everybody did yoga. I don't care who you were. If I was at a hotel, I'd have the hotel staff do yoga, but especially with divorced women where emotions run high.
Yeah.
I have to get them to understand that, as we mentioned in our last podcast, that divorce is your biggest transaction of your life, and you can't get emotionally involved with it or get emotionally as little as possible, that you have to treat it like a business transaction and be able to make calm, cool decisions that will properly affect your financial life for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. If you missed that show, that was on Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win-Win Women. So you can go to winwinwomen.tv and check that out. Now, if you're a woman in business now, you own your own business, are there specific things that you advise women to do if they are going to go through that process of a divorce? What are some of the things that they need to do to safeguard themselves or their businesses?
Well, the thing about being in a business, well, first off, do they make more money than their spouse? Because in some cases, if that's the case, you could be paying alimony to your spouse versus you getting. So if you think you're going to be going through a divorce, I think it's really important that you understand the dynamics of your business and really fine tune your financial statements, because if in fact you have a little larger business, your ex is going to hire a forensic CPA, and that person's going to come in and basically cause hell for you and ask for, and you'll have to provide it, 5 years worth of books. And they're going to get a valuation, and they're also going to make sure that you're not diverting funds or doing something that you shouldn't be doing. So, in conjunction with, again, on the last podcast, I talked about being prepared, making sure you get, all the copy of the bank statements, credit cards, your business credit cards, any lines of credit. Make sure you have everything available to you. If you need to get your own credit cards, to start building up your own credit in your own name, not with the same bank, and also get your own bank account, not with the same bank, and keep it secret and start building up your funds. And we talked about that you need to create enough funds where you can get divorced in case it doesn't get pretty. So the business is important. You still have to run the business when you're going through a divorce, but you want to make sure you have everything in line, that there's no liability or there's exposure, if you will, where ex could find out that you've been taking funds and going gambling.
I'm sure you've seen it all. I'm sure you've seen it all. In 40 years, you've seen a lot of stuff happen.
Yeah, no, it's no question. But the reality is, if in fact this woman's business is really the sole breadwinner of the family or important, it's also understand the note that, and the guy would understand this, if in fact you do have to pay out anything, it's important that you be successful. So there's no point.
So there's no point in destroying you and the business.
Destroying you.
Yeah.
People don't get that. And they destroy.
Well, they get emotional, like you said.
Oh my God, they try to destroy their spouse, and then they say, "Well, where's the money?" It's just being common sense. And we talked about the other areas. How do you divorce? What kind of lawyer do you hire, and what type of divorce should you consider? These are all questions I could answer. Just go to my website and drop a question, or I could direct you to the right people. That's so important. Not only do you have to be properly prepared in divorce, but you got to pick the right team. I have seen so many times, and I hate to say this, where a woman hires the wrong attorney who just is not that savvy, and they get hurt. And unfortunately, once you get divorced, that's it. There's no going back. So everything you have to do has to be properly planned, just like you're running your business, and make sure you got all your ducks in a row. You have money aside. You're independent. Do not leave the house. All right. No matter how upset you get, that's not a good thing. Hang in there. If you got to draw a line down the middle of the house, he's on one side and you're on the other side, that's cool. But it's important you pick the right people and handle it in a business manner. And everybody will come to the other side. I'll share this last point with you. Since we talked about being a yogi, one thing I tell my clients going through divorce that are emotionally distraught, I say, picture a covered bridge. If you were up north one time, even a snow-covered bridge, and you put your title on the bridge, say Alicia's divorce. All right. When you walk into the bridge, into the tunnel, it's very dark. You're disoriented. You don't know what you're to do, but at the end of the bridge, you'll get to the light. So every step that you take on the bridge will take you that much closer to the light and end of your divorce. Now, the length of the bridge might be different in terms of length of time. You may be in the beginning of the bridge more often than before you get to the middle. Everything is different, but ultimately everybody does get to the end of the bridge. And that's my message, that you may go through turbulent times, but ultimately you'll come out the other side and use divorce as a catalyst for your extraordinary life.
There you go. So that's the way to end it. So Craig, thank you so very much. And if you want to find out more about his financial planning, if you have a business and you want to just consult about some more about planning out your business financially, please go to his website. It's richmondcm.com. And he has a wealth of experience. Like we said earlier, 40 years of experience in wealth management. He's a divorce analyst. He's also a yogi, and he just knows a lot about how to set yourself up for success and set your business up for success. So you can just reach out to Craig at richmondcm.com. Thank you so much, Craig. Is there anything last that you wanted to share, or are you good with where we are?
My last comment is the best way to describe me is to be your biggest advocate. My job is really take somebody and really help them make those good decisions and be by their side and help them through tough times or help them build their wealth. I also manage the money. I'm a stock analyst on top of everything else. So my job is really to handle pretty much everything and help you live a life of abundance and wealth and happiness.
Thank you. All right, Craig. So appreciate you spending some time with us this Saturday.
Thank you for the opportunity to be with you. You're always so awesome.
You're welcome. Thanks. That was Craig Richmond. Again, it's Richmond Capital. If you want to find out more, go visit Craig's website. It's richmondcm.com. Now, just hanging right there, I want to share our sponsors with you. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for joining us today. This episode is produced by Red Carpet CEO, a proud member of BOMA, the Black-Owned Media Alliance, advocating to close the disparity in advertising for Black-owned media. This show is sponsored by Audacious Concepts, Inc., a boutique consulting firm that provides audacious solutions to those nagging and persistent people problems clogging your revenue pipeline. For more information, visit audaciousconceptsinc.com. Now, here's a word from our other sponsors.
FAMU's Mary educates diverse communities about medical marijuana and the consequences of illegal marijuana use in Florida. Hear advice from leaders in your community. Listen to the podcast, watch the video cast to know all the facts. Follow Mary Forum Radio on social. Take the free basic education course and test your knowledge. Find answers to all of your marijuana questions and visit mary.famu.edu. That's mmeri.famu.edu. And join the conversation. Mary, educate, learn, talk.
The City of Miami Gardens welcomes you to the 16th Annual Jazz in the Gardens Music Festival, featuring Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, Sean Paul, Ari Lennox, Charlie Wilson, Jodeci, Mike Phillips, and so much more. Jazz in the Gardens, a sweeter level. March 11th and 12th at Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets on sale now. Learn more at jazzinthegardens.com. Presented in partnership with Live Nation Urban.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Like, who wants to come to Jazz in the Gardens here in Miami Gardens? I mean, yay. I want to go listen to them. So if you want to check out Jazz in the Gardens, I'm going to drop a link in the comments for you to go check it out, because I think it'll be an awesome time if you're headed to Miami. Don't forget to come visit. So I just dropped the link in the comments to check out Jazz in the Gardens. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I just want to quickly remind you of a couple of things. Number one, our podcast, Leading with Audacious Confidence podcast, is new on Wednesdays. It's at aliciacouri.com/podcast. We talk all about leadership and building confidence in leadership. And we have some incredible guests. So season 2 just wrapped. We're getting ready to relaunch season 3. So check it out. But you can go listen to previous episodes. We got so much incredible guests and great content to build your leadership with confidence. So check it out wherever you listen to podcasts, you can check it out, or go to our website, aliciacouri.com/podcast. Also, if you haven't yet joined the group, go ahead and join the group. It's facebook.com/groups/SBSSO to be a part of Small Business Saturday Shout Out. And we'd love to have you as a guest on the show. So if you want to be a guest on this show, go ahead and email us, support@aliciacouri.com, to become a guest on the show. We will definitely shout you out. Hey, Maureen, thank you. Thank you for checking out the replay. I know you're just catching the tail end of it. You're shouting us out. Thank you so much. And Arlene, shout out from Atlanta. Yay, Atlanta. Arlene, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys got some great advice. If you own a business, if you got some great advice from Craig, because it's not just about whether you're going through that stage in life, but also if you just want to secure your business and shore it up, that you need to connect with a financial analyst, a financial planner, to understand how to really secure your business, whether it's for sale or it's for just the prosperity of your business. You need to really connect with someone like Craig. And if you missed it, I'm going to give you his website again. Go to richmancm.com. That's Richman Capital Management, Richman Capital Management. So you can contact Craig, go to the contacts page and contact Craig. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I would love to have you on the show. So go to support@aliciacouri.com. Ask to be a guest of the show. DM me. If you don't know how to reach me on social media, go to alicia360.com. You can reach me there and send me a DM and let me know that you want to be on the show. And every Mondays, we're on winwinwomen.tv, interviewing and sharing information all about women, for women, by women. So come on over to winwinwomen.tv on Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern and check us out. All right. That's it for our show today. Thank you all for joining us, and I will see you on another episode of Small Business Saturday Shout Out here on a Saturday evening. So take care, everybody.